Okay, I think it should be working now. I'm sorry about the technical difficulty. I'm not sure what's going on. I might have to invest in some new software or try something new to make sure that we don't experience these issues in the future. I have no idea what happened, but I am going to go back and start over. So, welcome to today's Doe for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat. We go live every single Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time to answer any questions you have about scholarships. If you can't hear me at any time, please let me know. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm the founder of Doe for Degrees LLC. Doe for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where we teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt free. I graduated debt free from Virginia Tech on May 17th of this year, 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And so I'm going to drop the link to Doe for Degrees website. As you all may be aware, I dropped 2 videos within the last couple of hours that are related to the FAQ series we announced on last Sunday. The FAQ series is the second series on this channel. We have a show, which is the Doe for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat. We go live every Sunday for a 30-minute conversation. And then we have 2 shows. So the first show is the Habits of Scholarship Winners. Thanks, TMH. We're back. Sounds good. And then the second show is the FAQ. The second series is the FAQ. So the first series is the Habits of Scholarship Winners, where I give tips each month for high school students and college students on what they should do to win scholarships or to ensure that they graduate debt-free. The second series is the FAQ series. I take frequently asked questions that I receive at speaking engagements, via email, in-person, random conversations, and I answer those questions on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist for that as well. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, advice, you need me to tweak something, let me know. Leave a comment on the video, leave a comment in the chat, or what have you. If you watch the second video I dropped today, you'll notice that I teased something. I said for the next couple of weeks, we're going to teach you how to win a scholarship. And so one of the scholarships I applied for and I won my senior year of high school was $6,000. And that scholarship is now available for students to apply for. It was a national scholarship. What's good, Cav? I hope you're doing well. Peace. And so that scholarship, the top prize this year is $25,000. But there are so many different awards. And as on my board back there, you can see I've listed the awards. You probably can't see it because it's that far. But in the next couple of videos I drop, I'm going to start announcing how to win that scholarship. Now, I'm going to walk you step by step what you should do to win the scholarship based on me winning the scholarship in 2015. And not much has changed. Now, when I walk you step by step, don't expect me to give you my essay. Don't expect me to give you the answers to the questions. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to walk you through the process you need to take to ensure that you take the best steps to win the scholarship. And once again, it's all on you. Same thing with anything. Someone can teach you how to do it, but your success relies on you actually putting in the work and enduring the process. And I had a speaking engagement this week at Forest Park High School. I think it's the second time I spoke there this year. So glad to be back and able to talk to the students. They had the college week this week. And by the way, if you have a question or comment about scholarships, leave it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer it. And so this was the second time I've been there. And I spoke to the students for 45 minutes about how to write a winning scholarship essay. And one thing I said in my speaking engagement was, your mindset will make you or break you. It's so important. Like, students go into the scholarship process all the time. And they're like, this is a lot of work. I don't want to put in this much work. But one thing I often ask in my speaking engagements is, does anyone have student loan debt, or have they just paid off their student loans recently? And a couple of ladies were in the audience who just paid off their student loans. And I asked them to honestly and transparently share their experience with the students so the students can have some insight into how student loans can impact their life if they choose to take that route. And she talked about how it was easy up front. All she had to do was sign her name on a piece of paper. But then she spent a good amount of her life, I'm talking about maybe 10, 15 years, paying back those student loans with interest and going into forbearance and default where the interest rate skyrocketed. And she had to make a sacrifice where she was tight on her budget. She couldn't enjoy all the pleasures of life because she was so focused on paying back her student loans. And what I conveyed to the students was, either way, if you want to go to college, you're going to have to make a sacrifice up front or on the back end. You're going to have to choose when you make the sacrifice. And it's always better to be proactive than reactive. And even in my speaking engagement where I dropped a couple clips of that, in this past couple videos I uploaded from the Jack and Jill engagement last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, one young lady came up to me and I was telling her about the importance of winning scholarships so that you don't have to go to college and take out student loans. And she said, well, do I have to write essays? I said, yes. She said, well, I'm not writing the essays. And I said, okay, to each his own. I mean, I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm only going to encourage you to take certain steps that will help free you up front so you don't have to deal with the headache of having student loan debt, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I said, well, think about it this way. When you go to college, don't you think you're going to have to write an essay or a few essays for your professor? I don't care if you study engineering. I don't care if you study art. You're going to have to write at some point in time in your college career to effectively communicate to other people, to demonstrate that you have writing skills. That is a professional requirement to be able to write and speak. There are two basic skills you'll need in life, no matter what field you decide to go into: the ability to speak and the ability to write. And so at some point in time, you will have to write. And if you're willing to write for your professor, then write back like I left something. You're funny. But if you're going to have to write for your professor, then you might as well write for yourself to get the money you need to go to college and graduate debt free. And so one thing I stressed in my Jack and Jill engagement was the fact that I said, you're going to college, and your choice to go to college, the amount you pay to go to college is helping to pay your professor's salary. You're sitting in class where someone is telling you what to do, and your choice to be in that room helps them pay their bills. And I thought to myself, when I was in college and I just graduated in May, I said, if I'm going to be here and you're going to get paid, there has to be some way I can get paid too. Like, you're probably going to make more than me right now, but if I'm going to be here, I have to at least make some type of money if you're making money off me. And so I started applying for an abundance of scholarships and getting scholarship refund checks. So this is my thing. If you're willing to write for your professor to tell you pass or fail, to accept it or deny it, tell you to do it again, tell you to restructure it, then why not write for yourself so you can get a couple $1,000s off of it to pay your college tuition bill? And this is one thing I hope students understand. If you choose to go to college, you already have bills. Like, you're 18, 17, whatever, you're going to college, you have bills, and you usually have more bills than anyone else. Like, imagine a 17-year-old deciding to go to a private institution that costs $70,000 a year. They come from a low-income background. They come from a single-parent household. Their parent is barely making ends meet, and you want to go to a school that costs $70,000 a year. Now, this hypothetical situation, this student doesn't get any additional scholarships or financial aid outside of the Pell Grant and stuff they received in the FAFSA. Now, granted, when you go to a private institution that's a predominantly white institution, and you are a minority or a lower class student, you typically get scholarships and aid based on your financial need. And if you have a high GPA, community service, talents, all those things, then you'll get money in addition to that. And so you're going to get money because you are an asset to the university in terms of their demographic, in terms of their enrollment. And you kind of you help them look good on paper, basically. So they're going to accommodate you, make sure you're well accommodated financially. But in this hypothetical situation, this student doesn't get any of that. They only get the $5,500 Pell Grant, and maybe let's throw in a couple other grants, but it costs $70,000 a year. So they have a scholarship need of, let's say, $60,000 a year. They have a scholarship need of $60,000 a year. Now, your mother doesn't have a dime to send you to school, but you are dead set on going to this private institution. And so you decide not to apply for outside scholarships to help you go to college and graduate with little to no debt. And so therefore, you sign your names on loans. You sign your name on a bunch of loans that are subsidized and unsubsidized. And if you don't know the difference between the two, go watch the first FAQ video after the intro video. I broke down the difference between unsubsidized and subsidized student loans. And I'll link all that in the description box after I finish this. And I go back and edit it this week. But what I want you to let you know is that, hey, okay, you sign all your name on those student loans. The unsubsidized student loans are gaining interest while you're in the classroom. So you already owe someone money and you're not bringing in any income. Now, what that forces you to do is that forces you to be reactive. You are reacting to your prior decisions. You are reacting to the fact that you decided to sign your name on a student loan. Whereas you could have been proactive when you were in high school and try to apply for scholarships and win scholarships to help avoid that situation. And that's just in your first year. So if you had to take out $60,000 in student loans in your first year, imagine how much student loan debt you will have after you graduate from this private institution. And keep in mind, college doesn't have any guarantees. So you're going to a college university that doesn't guarantee that you'll get a job. You're going to a college university that doesn't guarantee that you'll make X amount of dollars after you graduate. They only give you the resources you need to help you earn your degree. But then again, it's dependent upon you putting in the work for you to earn your degree. And so it goes back to the fact of like, be wise in your decision making. And one of the things that every student needs to take into account when they decide to go to college is the cost, because that's the thing that's going to impact you the most in the long run. Y'all let me know, drop a comment in the chat, drop a question if you have one. Let me know if that helps you. I'm just here trying to give some advice. I'm going to dive into the importance of being proactive. And one thing I communicated to the students when the lady finished sharing her story in my engagement this past Thursday at Forest Park High School, I said, if you notice, both of us had to make a sacrifice. I chose to make a sacrifice before I went to college and while I was in college to ensure that I had enough money to pay for it and I could graduate debt free. And on the back end, she chose to make a sacrifice financially to pay off her student loans and free herself of that responsibility after she graduated. So I said, there's no running from this. The system has you in a bind. Either way, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. And you decide whether you want to pay the amount that's due for your degree or you want to pay that and some in interest. It's up to you. And I get it. Everyone doesn't have the luxury of, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, everyone's situation is different. I'll say it that way. Everyone doesn't have the same mindset as others. But this goes back to my original point. Your mindset will make you or break you. The more time you spend complaining about your situation, the more time you spend feeding negativity to your circumstances or your outcome, that's what you'll get. Because the time you spend complaining is the time you could spend working and figuring things out. No, I didn't have a guide when I was applying for scholarships. I literally did it by trial and error. I got so many rejection letters that it broke my heart. But because I had to find strength in the fact that I was being rejected by people, when I know I had the things they were looking for, but they still didn't choose me, I had to keep going. That's where I got my strength. It was like, because no means not now. And I'm going to break that down to you. You may tell me no right now. You may tell me, no, I didn't win a scholarship for this semester or this year or this term or what have you. But if I'm able to, I'm going to reapply. And hopefully you'll give me a yes. And so don't fix yourself. Don't allow your feelings to get in the way of your success, because your feelings aren't a good metric. And this is what I tell students all the time. If you're going to apply for scholarships, one of the quickest things you need to realize is your feelings don't matter. It just wipe that out your head. Your feelings do not matter. Because at 18 years old, I decided to make the sacrifice of getting up every morning at 5 o'clock, 7 days a week for 5 months straight, and going to school and working on homework, helping out in my household, doing community service, being active in my community, and applying for scholarships. I did all of that for 5 months straight and went to bed at midnight to get back up at 5 a.m. and do the same thing. And I had to keep that process going while I was in college. My feelings couldn't get in the way. There were several times where I didn't feel like writing an essay. There were several times I didn't feel like going to the post office for the 10th time that week to mail the scholarship. There were several times when I didn't feel like asking for another letter of recommendation. There were several times when I didn't feel like drafting another essay to the same, to another response. I didn't feel like drafting another essay to respond to another prompt. There were several times I didn't feel like it, but guess what? My feelings didn't matter. My desire to have financial freedom at 22 years old mattered more to me. So my commitment outweighed how I felt in the moment. Going to the chat. No sellout said, don't mind me. No means not now. Yes. Sister, yes. No means not now. Cab said, so basically the amount of debt gained doesn't match the amount of profit gained per said degree. Exactly. And I was writing in my book. I don't know if you've been to my website, but my first book is Choose the Right College. It'll be the first book I ever published. And my goal is to publish it this year. If it's not published this year, it'll be published in the second quarter of 2020. But in this book, I said something. I was like, you can't beat the system. The only system you'll be able to win in is the one you create from scratch. Like the system, the American system of picket fence, go to college, get your degree, work until you're 65, retire, get the benefits of Social Security and Medicaid and all that stuff, Medicare, whatever. You're not going to win in that system. You're not going to win in that system. You're going to lose. It's built for you to lose. I was on a call or a live or something. I think it was an A2 call or A2 live. And one of the young men came on to the live. It was a Cab Grand Razzin show on A2 for A2. He talked about he met a millionaire. And the millionaire said, I'll pay people $50,000 or $60,000 so that they don't become me. because you're going to get stuck in this, what do they call it? Like the hamster wheel of doing just enough work to make sure you get your check every week or every 2 weeks, while you help me generate more money so I can drive around in a Ferrari or what have you. Like at a young age, I already knew. I said, that's not the upside of life. If I'm working for you, and I had this conversation with my grandma. Yes, rat race. Exactly, sister. Amen. Hope that answers your question too, Cap. But I had a pivotal conversation with my grandmother this week that changed everything for me. And I've been having these conversations with my grandma, and my grandma is like in her, God, I don't know how old my grandma is. I know she's in her 70s, I think. But I was having this conversation with her, and I said, Mom, she said, why do you work so hard? Like, you rather work 100 hours a week than go get a job and pay in the Social Security and get those benefits? I said, Mom, that's not how you win in life. I won't win in life working for someone else. And this is, people who know me personally, you know how much this means to me. Everything I do is for my kids. Like everything. And I haven't even met my kids. I haven't even met a man I'm going to marry. Like none of that. I'm not even close to that point in my life where I'm going to have kids. I said, but I'm thinking that far ahead, because my goal is to break the generational curse. If I'm going to work for someone else, and I'm as creative, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm as creative and smart as I am right now, and I'm going to put my energy into helping you build your dreams. This is a quote that said, if you don't build your dreams, someone will pay you to build theirs. I'm going to put my time and energy into helping you build your dream. And then when I finish, I get laid off, I quit, I decide to retire, what have you. I own nothing but the money that was given to me if I have any left. I own nothing but this fancy watch or this bubble coat with the logo you give to me at my retirement party. That's all I have to show for my work. I have nothing to give to my kids but the message, go get a job and work for someone else. Like, that's all I have to give my kids. I said, that won't be my life. I can't let that be my life. I will rather die trying to build my own business than go work for someone else. I will work 100 hours a week. I told my grandma to her face, I said, Mom, you know what? For the next 8 years of my life, I've already committed to working at least 100 hours a week for the next 8 years. I'm 22. At 30, if I'm sitting on a couple billion at 30, I'm in a good position, because you know what? Inside of that building, there's residual income, there's passive income, there's property, there's intellectual property, there's companies in my name that will be passed down to my kids. So at 30, if I've done all the work I needed to do in life, we're good, because what I built, I can pass on to the next generation, and they can pass on to the next generation. I said, I don't care what it takes for me to get to that point in life. I'm committed. And I said, the beautiful thing about it, time is on my side. Time is on my side. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant, rude, or mean. Don't say 100% thank you. My sister said those are facts, miss, not bragging. Thank you. But I told this to the students. We had a conversation at Forest Park, and the kids said, well, how do you feel about time? Do you feel like time is perfection? Because if you've ever been to one of my speaking engagements, I give principles. I teach on principles. I don't teach on tips and advice, because that's going to fade away as the system changes. I teach principles because principles are things you can take and apply to another situation, no matter where you go in life. One of my biggest principles, and I teach in my speaking engagements, I teach to my clients, and I teach in these lives, because this is a version of a speaking engagement for me. 30 minutes off the cuff is practice for future engagements I'll have. This is how I keep my gift intact. I try to sharpen my craft, spend time on my skill, or what have you. But I said, time is your greatest asset. Time is greater than money. I said, the time you spent, these 45 minutes you spent listening to me, you will never get them back. You can't control those 45 minutes. They've gone and passed away. But if you take the knowledge I just gave you in the last 45 minutes and you apply it, you will free yourself in the future. I said, the biggest difference between an employee and an entrepreneur is what they trade. An employee trades their time for money. You go into work, you work 40, 50 hours, 60 hours a week. You give your time so they can give you money and a few benefits. As an entrepreneur, as someone who bootstraps, I give my time and my money so I can get both of those things back. I give my time, I put in 100 hours a week to my business, and there are only 168 hours in a week. I give time, I bootstrap. Every dollar that comes in goes right back to my business if possible, so I can get both of those things back. It's very uncomfortable right now. Like, as an entrepreneur, it's extremely uncomfortable. A recent college grad, yeah, it looks great that I graduated debt free, but there are weeks when I don't make $1, but I've still put in 100 hours a week. I don't know anyone that would go to a job and work 100 hours a week and not get paid $1. But it's not about the money, because time is greater than money. That's another principle. Time is greater than money. The work I put in is what will help me succeed. It's all about being one in a million. There are millions of students who go to college every year, but very few of them have graduated debt free. And even a smaller percentage are teaching other people how to do the same thing. The moment you decide to be a specialist, to be the only one, to be the best one in your field, or whatever your desired hopes or dreams are the moment you separate yourself from the crowd and you give yourself an opportunity to stand out. One of the reasons why I won so many scholarships was because my story was so unique. And this is something I'm going to get real vulnerable. Yes, since the time is your biggest asset, I'm going to get real vulnerable right here. And I hope I don't cry, because this is what brings me to my knees and to my tears every time I have to dig back to this point in my life. My mind goes right back there. The fact that I haven't seen my mother walk since I was in high school. My mother has a neurological disease that has been the foundation of my life. Having to go through that emotionally at such a young age, that's trauma. Like going from seeing my mother drive and pick me up from practice and run errands with her and go have fun, to having to take care of her physically because she was no longer able to do it. And there was no one there who could explain why it happened, but it was only God, because it was preordained for me to go through it so I can help other students who are in similar situations get through their things. Having to deal with that is one of the reasons why I push so hard. You can't tell me it's easy to have to deal with that at a young age and then come and try to be an entrepreneur and build $1 billion business. And what breaks my heart is the fact sometimes I'm like, I don't even have the financial means to help my mother, someone who's given so much to me. But my purpose and my assignment right now in my life is to help change families all around the world. Like, I don't have the means to help my mother, but I'm supposed to pour into all these people who have no idea what my situation is like. It's not for you to understand. But the point about it is, if you're willing to make a sacrifice and go through the hard times and go through the process, you'll reap the rewards on the end. So like, don't worry about what you're going through right now. Everything you go through is supposed to make you strong. It's supposed to make you better, because at the end of the day, no one can tell my story the way I can tell my story. I told the students in the essay, in my speaking engagement on Thursday, I said, if I read the winning scholarship essay I wrote for that $6,000 scholarship that I'm getting ready to teach you how to win in the next couple of weeks on my YouTube channel, it wouldn't matter, because you don't have the same story as me. You can try to pull and pick and make your essay sound like mine, but your authenticity, your transparency, and your vulnerability will never be the way mine is, because you haven't lived through what I've lived through. And I'm not saying I'm better than you, but what I'm saying is stick to what you know. You went through what you went through for a purpose. It's your choice. It's your responsibility. It is your job to tell your story with authenticity, transparency, and vulnerability, because inside of your story is your victory. My trauma triggered my victory. My trauma has made me the person I am today. And I'm okay with it now. But when I was going through it, it was a living hell, and I hated every single moment of it. But I'm so happy because I could stand in the face of kids every single time I have to speak, and stand in the face of parents and families all around the world and say, you know what? I know it's hard right now, but these essays you write can free you for the rest of your life. This is light work. This is light work. Sitting down to write a 500-word essay for me to talk about myself and what I went through, that's light work. You'll give me $7,000, $6,000, $9,000 to talk about my past. That's light work, because all you're doing is laying the bricks and foundation for my future. All you gotta do is put in the work, y'all. That's it. Like, I'm telling you, I bawled. I just cried tears on YouTube Live, because inside of that experience in my life, it's everything else I've done. Like, that's the foundation. My trauma triggered my victory. That's it. No sellout. What's up? Teammates said you can get more money, you can never get more time. Exactly. My sister said you're amazing. The world is so much better because you're in it. I'm like, I don't know why I'm balling, yo. But it's for real though. Thank you, sister. No sellout said, what's up? TMA said, we're proud of you, Danielle. Thank you. Cab said, for every step you take, she walks with you when others. I'm about to cry for real. I'm about to end the live. She walks with you when others choosing did. And you fight. That's what makes you continue to shine, Danielle. I don't know why I'm balling, but like, it's so hard to go back there because my mind goes back to that age. And like, it's so hard to go back there. But if I don't go back there, I'll never be able to help the kid who stands in my shoes today. Like, I'll never be able to help the kid that like is going through that, who has to endure that. It's not easy. And the biggest thing about scholarship, the thing I realized why I kept winning was because I was writing these essays, and people from privileged backgrounds, people who never really been through anything, were primarily my scholarship review committee. They were reading my essays. And when you hear the story, and this is why I tell youth, especially, I did a video a while ago on my YouTube channel. I called it The Advantage of the Kid Who Knows How to Win. I said the advantage of the kid who knows how to win. Like when all odds are stacked against you, when everything looks like it's going to get your way and you still overcome it and you stand strong, you're built to win. Like nothing's going to stop you. You just have to keep going. That's it. You just got to keep going. And I'll tell you straight up, with people who were reading my essays, many times they would come to me crying after they read my essay. They would come to me bawling because they say, I don't understand how someone went through what they went through at such a young age and is still smiling and still has as much joy as you have today. What I went through wasn't for me, but it was meant to free me, because telling this story is going to change my life. And it's not about my life, but it's going to change the lives of people all around the world. I love you too, sister. So, yo, if you don't learn anything else from what I said today, I hope you take the fact that everything you've gone through in life is meant to make you stronger. And these essays and applying for these scholarships, that's light work. Don't let your feelings get in the way of your success, because time is one thing you can't control. It's one thing you can't manipulate. It's one thing you can't get any more of. And so if you spend time complaining about your present circumstances and situations, and you don't spend time trying to make it better or enjoy the fact that you're going through it. One of my favorite scriptures, I don't know if it's James 1:3. I don't know. It's in James, but it says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kind, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so you may be complete and whole, not lacking anything. It's pure joy that I went through a living hell, because on this side of my life, everything before me is only going to get better. Same thing for you. Don't let your feelings get in the way. Y'all keep pushing through. I can't believe I just cried on a YouTube live, but that lets you know that, like, it's real. It's real. I just hope I help someone today. Y'all already know y'all can contact me through Dope for Degrees. You can shoot me a message. I'm going to drop some more content every week. My plan is to drop at least 3 videos every single week on our YouTube channel. I'm not going to say they're going to come out on a certain date or a certain day, because my schedule sometimes is unpredictable. But I'm committed to giving you at least 3 videos every single week. So in between each live, you should see 3 new videos, 3 new types of content to help you frame your mind. The biggest thing I work on in my YouTube videos is mindset. Mindset is the key to success, because it will make you or break you. It will tell you that you won't win when you're already made to win, or it'll tell you that you're good enough when you haven't put any work, or tell you that you need to keep going because you're committed to the process. Your commitment should override everything in life. Your commitment to be the best person you can be, your commitment to leave an inheritance for your children and your children's children, your commitment to change this world, and most importantly, to change your life. It should override everything you decide to do in life. I love y'all with all my heart. I love y'all even more because I cried today, and that's not something I do. But I do cry, but I try not to cry in public. But sometimes you can't help it. I love y'all with all my heart, and it's only going to get better. The only way is up. I'll see y'all next time.